part 8 and we're wrapping it up. So again, size, speed, strength, skill set, hometown, all these things. Like if you are looking at a place and you don't see someone who looks like you, then they might not recognize your talent. Doesn't mean you can't make it at that level. You just might not be able to make it at that school. And then again, like back to guidelines, you need to do the research, find out when those people recruit, where they are, where they're going to be. And then through that process, you've got to sell yourself. You got to be a marketer. And I don't just mean the parent, I mean the kid. The student athlete has got to understand all that information. And then what you need to do is you really need to step it up a level. You need to make sure that if I'm going to a travel tournament somewhere, get online. Like you don't realize how easy it is to access this information. Get online, find out the colleges that are going to be there. There's going to be Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA at any like big event. What are you going to the event for? Do you want to play in college? If you do, and most do, whatever level it is, if you do, you need to reach out and send an email to those people. You need to follow them on social media. You need to see what they look like, what they feel like, what they talk like. Is it the kind of coach that you want to be coached by? Have they been there for a while? Are they married? Do they have children? It seems like that shouldn't matter, but it certainly does. If you're married and you have children, you probably aren't going to be as likely to move as you would if you're not married and don't have children. Single people, they don't have as much of a restriction on the decisions that they make. They're more free to just say, okay, well, here's a good opportunity, let me take it. If you're married with children, then you got to say, well, I'm going to pull kids out of school. All these other things. There's a bunch of factors to think about. But again, if you're going to go to a travel event, yes, it's for the fun. Yes, it's for getting better and all this other development stuff. But if you're not already committed to a school or you don't know where you're going, you better put the information out there so that people can track you. And then create yourself a profile at one or more of these different hosting places where they're about recruiting, and they do all have free options for the most part, and then you can start from there. You don't have to spend money on that yet. Just make sure you have a profile somewhere so you can send somebody to that. Some of these schools have a new setup with YouTube, or their Twitter account is blowing up, whatever it is. You probably have somewhere where you can send somebody, or you can reference some of your play without even having to do video editing. I mean, if you're fortunate enough to go to VVS or to Chittenango, a couple of examples in New York. Chittenango has a fabulous YouTube channel, and they have a bunch of really committed students who are putting out information and highlights and all sorts of full games that coaches can then go and reference and look at. And it's not edited for anybody. It's just like it's who you are as an athlete in its entirety. So the beauty of schools doing stuff like this now is that helps with the marketing and the sales of that student athlete to a school. So you have to take advantage of that stuff. So we're gonna take a little walk here as we go through this, but just to bring this to more to the presence of your mind of like, this is reality. So you have to be coached and be working with people who know. So like the wall we've got so many different colleges up on the wall. They didn't happen by accident. They happened on purpose. And the people who are up on the wall, the colleges who are up there, they didn't just happen by chance. They didn't happen by luck. For the most part, people reached out and they created opportunities where a coach could discover something about them and determine whether or not they're a good fit for their school. And so in order to give yourself that opportunity, you've got to figure out what it is that you're focused on, what it is that you're committed to. And if you can manage to play the 3 sports that you love all the way through school, that's phenomenal. You just have to make sure that you're still getting enough of an opportunity to recover. You're still getting coached and getting yourself in front of coaches enough to make sure that you get recruited if that's what your goal is. If your goal is not that, if it's just to enjoy what you're doing and to play, 1 sport or 2 sport or 3 sports, that's completely fine. I don't hear people yelling at the piano player to pick up the trombone. I mean, So if you love one sport, that's fine. If you love two, that's fine. If you love three, that's fine. That's great.